Welcome everybody. We're going to get started in just a few seconds here. Wait for people to pour in, and I'll go ahead and hold this up here. Actually, I need a way to do it this way. Alright, so pull that up and then get these guys over here. Oop, that's not what I want. Alright. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, at least for the sake of the recording here. So, today is February 5th of 2023. I'm Jake from Tradelab.AI, and we're going to talk about some of the new things that have come out this week, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that I've been working on, and some of the bug fixes and stuff that we've done. Alright, so the first thing I want to cover is the new features. So we got automated group billing. So this is something that is mainly for strategy creators, like people who own groups. This is an invite-only system, but if you do have a group that you're interested in putting on TradeLab, you want to share your strategies with the group, and you can monetize your strategies through TradeLab. You can do that with us. Just reach out to me, and I'll invite you to have these features. So if you take a look at the screen here, I can open up an organization and groups tab, and these screens actually allow you to manage your plans, how you want to monetize, and then also what strategies are in each group. We did some overhaul to this. We changed how the permissions work, so that you can assign different plans to different groups easier. You can have as many plans as you want, and each plan has its own permission ID, and then once you type in that permission ID, you can add that to any group that you want. Okay, so we have that, and we also have different management of let's see here, the billing system itself. So whenever we set up your plans, we're also now setting up different add-ons to the actual bill itself, and so your customers will actually see your portion of the plan on their invoice. And this is done for tracking, this is done for, all the legal purposes, and we're now able to basically create those on the fly as you create these plans. So that's all set up, and it's handled automatically now, so we don't have to worry about doing the math at the end of the month. Okay, so we got that. We also added quiet mode for plugins. So this is talking about the plugin system with Discord and Twitter and Telegram. So when we're talking about having a Discord set up, we can now have a quiet mode. So if I open up Discord and show an example of sorry, here we go. If I open up Discord and show an example here, so this is me adding a plugin, and I can put in my ID. Okay, so my ID goes right there, and then I can also add quiet, and I can say true or false. And so if we add true, it will no longer send these alert created messages. Okay, so if I say true, it won't respond to every message with alert created. If I say false, or if I don't enter it in, it will respond. And so the response is just there to really, give you an idea that it's working. Eventually, I expect most people will want to turn it off, and so that's why we created that. Okay, so we have that set up for you, and we're going to come back to plugins in a little while because I have some more to talk about there. And then we also have better alert parsing. So while you're making your plugin, I also have been working on some better parsing. So if you grab all of this as messages and put them in here, it'll create the example messages down here, and you can build your alert by selecting whatever fields that you want and build it like this. Now, the thing that we saw is that there was sometimes issues with how this was being broken apart and what different delimiters that you used. Sometimes it would create blank items in between here. So I would hover over this, it would just be a small blank box, right? And that would sometimes throw off how things were parsed and things wouldn't match up right. So we got some better parsing in here now, and I got rid of those boxes there. Okay, I am still working on the new AI-based parsing using Timmy to actually prompt him and parse these messages. That's part of what we're going to talk about later. But to move on, we have bug fixes. So there was quite a few, smaller bug fixes that we employed. There's just little quality of life fixes here and there. I know that we worked quite a bit on Bybit and Bitget particularly. Binance was in there as well. I know Bybit had trailing stop issues using the activation price with the new V3 API. We got those sorted. And then we also took a look at the Bitget TPSL position tracking. There were some issues there. And I got those sorted. And then we also took a look at the Australian dollar. So we had some issues where people were using symbols that had the Australian dollar as the quote as the last part of the symbol. And in those cases, that was not being respected as a single value item, right? It was something that was being it wasn't being respected as not a base price compared to quote, but as the base stable price of that trade. So now it is, and that should be looking a little bit better there. Okay. If we move on to the next, this is what's coming soon, and this is probably the most exciting part of this. So coming soon, I've been working on just a couple new things that I haven't talked about leading up to this. They've been on the plan, but they've sort of snuck in as I've been working on Alpaca and for stock trading, and also the live data with TALib. Those have been on hold just a little bit. I still got plenty of time, but they've been on hold because I've been focusing on the other bug fixes and other stuff to make sure that everything's stable. While I've been doing that, I sort of got the urge to do a project that some people have asked for in the past, and so I went through and started creating the output system for plugins, and I also attach webhooks and external APIs to that. So basically what that means is we're going to be able to call API calls, either post, put, or get calls on demand, and we'll be able to send a custom body. And this is going to allow us to connect to a lot of different other systems. We have a lot of systems that can connect to us right now, and what we're going to be doing is allowing output to other systems as well. So I also have done this for Telegram and Discord, so that's been something that's been asked about. So let's take a look at what that is going to look like. So this is not ready yet. This is not out in the public. Actually, it is out on the testnet. If you go to testnet.tradelab.ai, you'll have to create a new account. It is a separate website, but once you log in to whatever account, you will you can go down to plugins, and you can hit the plus button, or if you don't have a plugin, it'll bring you to this page automatically, and you can hit either Discord or Telegram, and you'll see this new page here. You also notice that we have a external API webhook option here, and that brings you to this page. So this new page here, it asks you, what do you want to do? So we now have two modes for each of these three services. Twitter is still input only, so we can only receive tweets. We can't output tweets, but we can output messages to Discord and Telegram, and we can also do external API calls. So if I click Discord and I hit say output, this is the new one. Now you can see that I can name my plugin like normal. I have my plugin ID. It gives me some instructions here at the top. But then I can select what type of messages I want to send. So when my trade opens, when my trade closes, that sort of thing. And then I can also select which strategy. So all strategies, or I can select a particular set of strategies. Right, and add these strategies over. These are the included ones, these are the excluded. I'm also adding a message box up here, so you can decide what is actually sent. And yeah, so there's that for Discord. If we take a look at the external API, we can see input and output. So if we look at output, this is going to be sending calls that are like post and put, and we're going to be sending a body. So right now I have the headers right here, so you can do content type application JSON or whatever it is that you want to send. It'll be up to you. You can add that, and we also are going to have a body box here that allows you to determine what the payload is that you're sending, right? So this is going to let you connect to things like Pine Connector. So Pine Connector is a very popular service that you can actually send trades to MetaTrader and other places. And so MetaTrader specifically is a pretty big deal, because if you can send trades to MetaTrader, then you can do Forex trading. You can do stock trading, commodity trading, anything that you can trade on MetaTrader would be accessible through Tradelab. And so that's why this is somewhat of an exciting new feature, is because we'll be able to send stuff to Pine Connector, but many other services as well. So it's going to be pretty cool. So we have this, and I'll show you how this hooks up here in a second. So you basically create this, and then we'll go into the strategy builder and set up rules here in a moment that would use this. Right. So real quick, I want to go back and show. If we hit external API one more time, we can hit input, and the input is a little bit different for the external API. So I can get a test call, like I believe, let's see, test API call. Yeah, so this is one. Trying to think there's a better one, but basically you just grab some sort of, whatever. I'm just using an API, random test API, right? But whatever it is that you're going to input, you would put the URL here. Maybe this is getting weather information. I wonder if there's the World Weather API or something. National Weather Service API public. Right, and you might need like an API key, and that's where you would put in your headers right here. Where is, oh, I guess I need to add the headers right here. Yeah, so I'll put headers right here so you can add the headers for your external API input as well. And so yeah, you might find like weather service information, or I don't know who, there's lots of information. In fact, I was just talking to somebody about a potential partnership. They have a lot of documentation docs about finances, like the different consumer reports or the different, annual reports from different public companies, that sort of stuff. And you could actually grab that sort of information using something like this, and then input that, right, and break it apart. Right. So if we get examples, we'll actually call this, and we'll get the example right here, and we can start breaking that apart however it is that we want. Right. I've also added a custom delimiter in here that actually breaks this apart. If it sees that it's a JSON object, it's actually breaking it apart so that you can re-break it apart however you want with your JSON objects. Right. So that's how that works with the external API. And if we move forward into the strategy builder, we can actually take a look at how we would implement something like this. So if I wanted to send an alert, if I wanted to send a message to Discord whenever I had a trade for this, I would click on this for Discord, and I would say that this strategy is either excluded or included. So right now it is included because I included this strategy, but I could exclude it, or I could include it. Right. So this is on the new plugins sidebar. Okay. And then we also have the ability to edit the plugin, so I can go edit it. That'll take me to that other page. And this is where I put in my message, right? So we are going to have a default message. So if you add that to the edit plugin screen, I told you I hadn't added the box yet, but when I do, that's going to be the default for this plugin, the default message that sends for every strategy. But if you had one strategy that you wanted to override it for whatever reason, you could start selecting whatever you want. Let's say maybe the current price, and maybe we say, current price is this, and we want to also send maybe the entry price, right? We can say entry price is that, right? And maybe we want to get the profit, right? So we can go to here and get the profit and say this is our profit. Maybe we want to tell it what type of trade it was, so we can go down here and do side, right? And say, hey, this is the the side, long or short, right? It'll say buy or sell or something like that, right? And then that'll send to Discord, and you're good to go there, right? So anytime that a trade opens or closes or whatever, your TPSL gets hit, it'll send this message. Now, let's say that you wanted to send a message on some other thing. Like we have break even right here. It would normally send a message if your TP got hit. But let's say we had some other logic and we wanted to send a message on demand. So there is an option, or there should be. Okay, I need to add it to the other side. In fact, I think I did that last night. I just didn't push it. So yeah, right here, if we hit plugin, it will give you all the plugins that you have. So this is on a different account. I've made a whole bunch of test plugins. But these are all the plugins that I have. I can select a plugin, and then I can hit the options panel, and this is where I can add headers, and then I can change my message for this particular call, right? So if I wanted to run a Discord message and send it to Discord just as a rule, I could do that. and then I could customize the message totally separate from the regular messages that I send. I could add references and all that stuff, right? So that's how that works. And then we could also do a plugin for an external API. And doing an external API is going to give us the same options. We can customize our message and the headers. And the thing about this is we can actually call input and output external APIs. So if this is an external API that is made to do a webhook, it will go ahead and send out, and that's all good. If it's made to do an input, it will send out, and then based off of that, it will generate another alert, which will actually be parsed and sent back to the strategy, and the strategy will run again using that new alert as the custom alerts in here. So all that data that you just called will be passed back into the strategy. So that's how that works. Hey Ken, how's it going? Thanks for joining us. So I'm just running through all of the changes that we made and the changes that I am making currently this weekend. So I basically just wrapped up this little presentation here. So we went through the new features, which was automated group billing, quiet mode for plugins, Discord and Telegram plugins, and better alert parsing for alert parsers for the plugins like Discord and Telegram. Okay. We also had some bug fixes. Some big ones were the Bybit trailing stop, the Bitget TPSL, and the support for the Australian dollar as quote, because we had some problems with that before. And then finally, I just covered some of the stuff that I'm working on that is currently on the testnet. So if you go to testnet.tradelab.ai, you can check out some of the stuff that's not released yet. And this is stuff like external webhook calls, so that we can make calls to places like Pine Connector, which is pretty exciting. And then we can also do input calls. So if you wanted to get information from a document service or anything about Apple's, last quarter or something like that, you could actually pull API data and then break it apart. And then we also are adding Discord and Telegram output, so that you can send messages to Discord and Telegram when the trade is hit. So not only are we taking messages and generating alerts from those plugins now, but we're sending messages out. And so that is not quite ready, but it's getting there. I actually just started on it this weekend, and you can check that out in testnet.tradelab.ai. So that is going to wrap up the main portion of this AMA, at least the update portion. And now we'll get to the actual asking questions. It is light this week. We don't have a whole lot of people joining us. We got Ken. Thanks for joining us, Ken. And I'm just going to check the live stream to see. Doesn't look like we have any chats in the live stream. So pretty light. We usually do these on Saturdays, but I decided to do this one on Sunday. So that could be part of the reason. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to questions. And since we only got one person with us, how you doing, Kim? How's it going? I'm not sure that I can hear you. Hold on one second. Hey Kim, can you hear me? Oh, hey Kim. How you doing, Ken? Oh, I think you just muted yourself.
Jeff?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, fine. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right.
Yeah, I don't know why I have the background something speaking. Is it my computer having a problem?
Yeah, I think it is coming from your computer. I'm not sure. It sounds like you might have, you know what that sounds like? There's a thing called the assistant, like the voice assistant, that if like say you're blind and you're trying to use a computer, you would need it to read the screen for you. Can you imagine that? If you were blind, you would have to have the computer talk to you to tell you what's on the screen because you can't see it. I think you might have accidentally pressed a button on your computer that turned that on. And that's what's happening is it's reading
You know
what's
how
on
to
the
turn it
screen.
off?
Honestly, I'm not exactly sure. What type of computer do you have? Windows? Mac?
Yes.
It's Windows? Okay. Let me look it up and let me see if I can help you. Let's see if we go to um,
Does it
Windows,
disturb you?
Windows 10
I'm so sorry.
Assistant. What's that?
Sorry.
Oh no, no worries, no worries. It's okay. Let's see. How do we turn off the assistant? The Windows 10 computer. I think if you try hitting where is it? On your keyboard, try hitting these three keys at the same time. Okay, so start by hitting the Windows key, the little
Window key?
yeah, the Windows. Okay, then hit Control, the Control key. Okay, and then hit Enter, the Enter key. There you go. I just heard it. So like turn off maybe. Let's see.
Start narrator dialog. Okay,
Turn
exiting narrator.
narrator off. Turn narrator off. Here, let me shut this off. All right, technical issues there. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap up the AMA this week. I think it was pretty quick. Didn't catch everybody at the right time, but that's okay. We got it recorded and streamed, so if anybody's got any questions, feel free to hop on Discord and let me know. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can always reach out on Discord via this link at our website. Show you guys this real quick. Of course, you can reach out via the help button down there, or we have a Discord button right up at the top here. So Tradelab.AI, Discord, and that will invite you to the Discord. Alright. Alright, thanks everybody for watching. Like the video and subscribe for more updates, and catch you next time. Have a good one.